What is going on, everyone? It's Nero again, here for you, some Battlefield 4 in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which is a weekly series here on my channel where you guys send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go ahead and answer them, especially if it's a question I'm not yet to answer before, which is a difficult thing to achieve in reality because, geez, I think last week's episode was actually the 75th episode of Dear Nero. So we freaking, well, man, it's been a long time since I've done this series. I've answered tons of questions, so sometimes it's difficult to, get questions that have never been answered on the series before. But we do our best, and we're back here for another episode of Dear Nero. And the first question, so the first two questions, in fact, on this week's episode are from the same person, because they're both very good questions. So I'm going to go ahead and answer both of them right away. And one of them actually pertains to the gameplay, which kind of makes sense, and we're going to be talking about that. And then we have a bunch of other good questions to answer throughout this video. So I hope you guys all sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So first question, he writes, Dear Nero, lately I've noticed that it's actually a rare occurrence on your channel to see Call of Duty. It's normally Battlefield 4. I don't really have a problem with it because although I do not have it, Battlefield is an interesting background over your commentary. But I was just kind of sort of wondering what's going on. Are you kind of burnt out on Ghost? Do you not like it? Or are you really liking Battlefield 4? Thank you for reading this and have a wonderful day. Dakota from Springfield, Missouri. So Dakota, I'm actually going to check on this real quick. You guys can probably hear my mouse because it's I have a Razer Death Adder, if you guys are wondering about the particular mouse that I'm using. So if you go back for the past week, so we did 2 gameplays of the new maps yesterday. My 1000th video, that was Battlefield 4. COD Ghost and Battlefield 4 Mini-Taj. We had the 3 Chem Strike Saturdays. We had the Battlefield 4 Field Manual, Battlefield 4 Rank Up, COD Ghost, which featured a 70 kill gameplay on last week's Dear Nero. So there's been a good amount. I try and keep it varied. My thing with Call of Duty Ghost and my thing with Battlefield 4, so this is kind of how it's going. Call of Duty Ghost lacks a fun factor for me. Something about the game, I'm just not excited to play it all the time. Now, it's not to say that there's not times where I'm like, I want to play some Call of Duty. We're going to go play some Call of Duty. Hell, just this past double XP weekend, I think it was pretty much all throughout Friday, like literally all throughout Friday, because I think Friday's when double XP started. I started playing with subscribers early in the afternoon, stopped, took a break after a few hours, went and got something to eat and such, and then went and played with subscribers all throughout the evening again on double XP. And that was no easy task, because with that horrible freaking Xbox One system and its stupid audio, I have one of 2 options. One, I could wear my headset and actually hear what's going on in the game and do rather well because of it, or I can not have my headset on, have that dinky little headset that comes with the Xbox One itself, so I can actually talk to people. Because for whatever reason I can't hear people's voices through my headset, which makes no sense. I don't know, it was weird. So basically I had to play, and I played probably 10 hours in total of Call of Duty Ghost with my subscribers, and I didn't have any game audio for any of it. So I'm sitting here not doing very well, but it was still fun because we could still chat with people. So I still do play Call of Duty Ghost, but something about it, it's like, it's just not that fun. Call of Duty, I said it many times, I don't want to harp on it, I fucking hate Infinity Ward. Their games are awful. They just are. They're not that fun compared to Treyarch. And I don't know, Call of Duty Ghost just kind of lacks a fun factor for me. But then the DLC came out, and it's like, man, Fog is like why can't there be a Fog 24/7 playlist? Like, I giggle when I play on that map. It is so much fun. But Battlefield 4 is a really fun game, and if you're talking about, once again, we're talking about fun factor, I put 3 days of playtime, 72 hours into Call of Duty Ghost, and I put 94 into Battlefield 4, and I've only played Battlefield 4 for 2 weeks. I put more time in 2 weeks in Battlefield 4 than I put in the Call of Duty Ghost since it came out in November. Call of Duty Ghost just lacks a fun factor. I still play it now and again, but it's not my #1 choice as of right now, and I still like to make videos on it because, of course, that's what people want to see. So, basically, I play it when I feel like it, and if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to force myself to play it, because then I'm going to end up hating it and never want to play it again, like I did with Modern Warfare 3. So Modern Warfare 3 had the same issue. It was a game I really didn't enjoy, didn't really care for it, and yet I still forced myself to play it every single day until eventually I freaking just like snapped and like broke the disc and stuff, because I like kept going back to it. And I actually made a whole video on it. It was called The Definition of Insanity, because I kept going back to Modern Warfare 3 thinking I was gonna have fun with it, then not having fun with it. And that's because I kept forcing myself to play it so much. So I'm taking it slower this year with Call of Duty. Just don't want to grind it out and get burnt out on it and not have fun with it at all, especially since we're only a few months in. So I'm taking it slow, and Battlefield 4 is a lot of fun. It might just be a phase. Battlefield 4 might be a phase. I don't know. I go through phases with games. For like 2 months straight, I play a ton of Minecraft, like a ton of Minecraft with my friends, and then it just kind of randomly stopped. I'm wondering if Battlefield 4 is going to be the same thing. You know, I'm level 86. I've put in like 90-something hours into it, right? I'm kind of taking a break from that as well. I don't want to burn out too much on it, but that's why I'm playing it. And Battlefield 4, I'm damn good at it. If you watch my gameplay, I'm actually really good at Battlefield 4. I'm ranked Division 1. I wrote this on Twitter, what was it? I'm ranked Division 1, which means I'm in the top 3% of all the people on Xbox One. I'm in the top 3% in terms of KD, skill, kills, score. I'm basically just one of the best damn players on the Xbox One. In the top 3%. So that's pretty cool. I like it. I'm pretty good at that game, and I enjoy playing it. And it's fun. I feel like I'm harping on this question way too damn long, but why is it so many Call of Duty fans they only want to be good at one game? Try being good at every game. Try being good at tons of games. It's fun. Playing other stuff's fun, not just Call of Duty. And that's one of the reasons I don't play as much Ghost as I did Black Ops 2, for example. Next question. I feel like I ran on with that one way too long. He writes, Dear Nero, I'm just going to come right out of the gate and say it. I'm a PlayStation 3 player, and I'm very annoyed. Like, seriously, why do we always have to get everything a month later? I'm over here buying the wolf dog skin while LEA is calling it in on Fog. That's a little bit stupid. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I'm not entirely sure what that reason is. I was hoping that you could give us, some of us poor PC and PlayStation players, some insight as to why Call of Duty gives us everything later. Thank you for reading this, and have a wonderful day. Dakota from Springfield, Missouri. So the first two questions were actually from the same person. They're both really good questions. So this one, if you guys don't know, this is how it works. So us Xbox players, 360 and the Xbox One, we get the Call of Duty DLC like a month before the PlayStation guys. Just how it is. And you're wondering why that is? Money! All about the money. Microsoft throws a bunch of money at Activision saying, hey, give our players a DLC first before them, because they want people to purchase an Xbox because, I don't know, as a perk of only being an Xbox player, you get the DLC early. You know, maybe that would make more people want to buy Xboxes or something. That's the reason why they do it. And apparently, I don't know how much money it is, but they're throwing so much money at Activision that they're willing to say fuck you to half of their fan base, or roughly half. I mean, there's Xbox and there's PlayStation, then there's also PC. I guess there's also Wii, but roughly half, right, of their fans are on the PlayStation. They're basically saying, they're giving us more money than you are, so we're just going to go ahead and screw you guys over. And that's what they do. Go Activision. Bunch of scum. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, my friend recently got into a deadly car crash. He was thrown from the car and broke almost every bone in the right side of his body. He is recovering and is projected to have no brain damage, but will most likely not be able to play sports anymore. Anyhow, I was wondering if you've ever had somebody who's ever had a devastating injury. I understand if you do not wish to answer, and I totally respect that. Love your videos. Short stack. Short stack. Is that like a pancake reference? So as much as I'm like giggling at your name, it's actually a rather serious question. It's good to hear your friend. You said it was a deadly car crash, but your friend didn't die. Maybe someone else in the car died. That sucks. There's two people that come to my mind that have had devastating. Well, no one in my life has actually had an injury. Well, yeah, there's two people that come to mind that had like an injury or something like that. So my uncle died in a car crash, which is not cool. That sucked. I was rather young. I would have been nine or so. That was my mom's brother, and it sucked. It was all sad, and I still miss him. He was a really cool guy. Although I was pretty young, so I didn't really get too many good memories. But I was rather young. But the second one's my dad. And I want to make a video on this, but I don't need to talk to my mom about it because she knows way more about it than me. Because once again, this happened while I was younger, so I didn't really fully understand it. We don't talk about it a ton. I don't know every exact detail. And I feel as though if I want to make a good video about it, I want to know every exact detail. But my dad is a fucking medical miracle. So my dad's a logger. And his dad before him, my grandfather, was also a logger. And they were out working in the woods, and my dad was cutting a tree, and one of the limbs fell down. It came, I don't know how far down it came. This is one of the details I don't know. But the limb came flying down, hit my dad in the head, busted his helmet in two. And my grandpa was like working on the skidder doing something with it, and he turned back to yell something to my dad. My dad's laying there on the ground. He runs over, and my dad's sitting there like spitting up blood and whatnot, and they had to rush him to the hospital. The tree limb came down and hit him in the head. And it messed up his head really bad. Like, I heard somewhere, and once again, this is one of those details I'm not 100% sure on, but I've heard that he's half brain dead. My dad, like whatever percent of his brain just doesn't work anymore. And they went and saw, like, after a little while, they went and saw this one doctor who was like, especially like an expert in this kind of thing or something with the brain. And my dad walks in, my mom walks in when they were together at that time, and they sit down. The doctor like takes off his glasses and stands up. He's like, "You're Rick." I don't want to say my dad's name. He's like, "Yo," he's like, "Wait, you're Rick?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You see these pile of papers here? I have read every single one of these. There's no way you should be able to walk in here." See, my dad, like, however many percent of his brain doesn't work, he's still a fully functioning person. As crazy as that is, like, he can drive, although he's not allowed to. They took away his license because he has like so many injuries, but he can drive. He does still sometimes. He drives his four-wheeler mainly everywhere because he lives out in the country, and just the area he's in is like a small town out in the country. So his four-wheeler works, but he can drive vehicles. He still hunts. He can fish if he chooses to. He watches The Walking Dead. He's a fully functioning person. He speaks. There's no speech impediment. There's no. It's like it never happened. The only thing is that he's slightly, like, sometimes if you speak really quickly or if you're asking about something that he has to like remember way back to, it might take him a second for it to come back to him. And that's what's crazy. Like, he's like, I forget the exact percent, but there's whatever percent of his brain just doesn't work anymore. Like, he's got these giant scar in his head, and like they didn't think he was gonna live. And he does have seizures now and again, but they're not too bad. Like, he has seizures now. Dude, he takes like 30 pills a day. I shit you not. He has so many pills that to keep him going that that they have pills to counter other pills. Like, this certain pill helps with this, but it also gives him heartburn. So you guys prescribe a heartburn pill to counter that pill. He takes like 30 pills a day. It's insane. My dad's a fucking medical miracle. It's nuts. So those are two people in my life. My uncle died, and my dad probably should have died. That sounds bad, but yeah, with how bad that was, everyone thought he was gonna die, but he didn't, and it's insane. He's a fucking medical miracle. Next question, he writes, "Dear Nero, a little bit happier question. What do you think is your favorite zombie map from Black Ops 2? Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Buried, or Origins? And do you think it'd be cool if Treyarch made a zombie-only game like the Left 4 Dead? Congratulations on 1,000 videos, Timmy from Indiana." So Timmy, thank you for the question. My favorite Black Ops 2, that was like a golden age for zombie maps. I thought the Black Ops 2 zombie maps are really great. I'm honestly yet to really find a zombie map that I'm like, I don't really like that one too much. They're all really good. They're all great. If I had to pick a favorite for Black Ops 2, I'm going to go ahead and say Mob of the Dead. You guys know me. Well, you should if you watch my videos, right? You see my intro, right? I like retro stuff. The damn thumbnail for Dear Nero is Joseph Stalin writing a letter. I like retro stuff. I like old school stuff. Like, I'm going to be remodeling my office here soon, and I'm going to get some damn wood paneling and a brown shag carpet, and like, I like old school stuff, that's just how I am. And Mob of the Dead, you're back there in Alcatraz. It's just really cool. You got the Tommy gun on there. It's just really cool. I like that map a lot. So if you guys can answer me in the comments, which zombie map from Black Ops 2 did you like the most? This includes, well, shit, off the top of my head, I'm not really good. Where's the question at? There it is. Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Buried, or Origins? Which one would you say would be your favorite out of those four? Let me know that in the comments. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, mine was Mob of the Dead. Next question, he writes, "Dear Nero, I wanted to ask you about the new Call of Duty coming out in 2014. I know it's pretty early to be talking about the next Call of Duty, but the rumors are that Sledgehammer is going to be making it and causing a 3-year development cycle. If this happens, there will be no zombies and no Treyarch for this next year. What do you think? Would you like to see Treyarch make the next Call of Duty, or would you prefer a 3-year cycle so that companies have more time to polish their games? Thank you, Sky from Pennsylvania." So that's a cool name, Sky. Here's a fun fact about me. If this is a Nero fact, not too many people are gonna know this. Not too many people watch Dear Nero, so you guys can be some of the loyal people out there who know this about me that not a lot of people know. If I were to have been a girl, my name was gonna be Amber Sky. Amber Sky. That would have been my name. So, and I'm also from Pennsylvania. That's kind of cool. So, Sledgehammer is supposed to be making the next Call of Duty. We're talking about for a 3-year development cycle. I call bullshit on that, and this is what they need to do. This whole 3-year development cycle, I talked about this in a video called Black Ops 3 versus Modern Warfare 4. There needs to be a goddamn 6-month cycle. If you bring in Sledgehammer, okay, like they're kind of talking to do, if you bring in Sledgehammer, which is what the rumor is, then make it so it's a 6-month cycle rather than a 3-month. Now we're doing some math here. We're picturing this all in our head. So let's say in November, all right, in November, Infinity Ward releases a game. Then 6 months later, so there's November, December, January, February, March. In April, Sledgehammer releases a game. Then then May, then June, July, August, September, October, November, somewhere in that ballpark, right? And then the next November is when ProleteR comes out with their game. And then 6 months later, that's when Infinity Ward comes out with their game. What that does is that gives effectively, I'm going to make a drawing. I'm going to put a drawing on the screen right here now. This is how it works. So basically, each developer gets a year and a half to make their game, which is longer than what they have now. They get they get 6 months that they have to actually function with the game and make sure it's running and whatnot. But they also still get a full year to make their new game. This way, developers, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, maybe even Sledgehammer, they still get the same amount of time to start working on their new game that they've had in the past. But now, us Call of Duty fans get a new Call of Duty every 6 months, 2 Call of Duties a year. That'd be fan-freaking-tastic if you ask me. People say, polish their games. Call of Duty's gone about as far as it's going to go. Unless they actually start adding some actual levolution, they're not going to go too much further than this. Call of Duty's a very simple game. It's a simple game. There's guns, there's perks, there's attachments, there's kill streaks. That's what Call of Duty is. And if they go too far away from that formula, then it's not going to be Call of Duty anymore. It's going to be some other random first-person shooter. And then people are going to dwell out on the series. The reason people keep coming back to Call of Duty is it's the same kind of idea, same concept every year. Just new maps, new guns, new stuff, whatever. And if they continue to do that, there we freaking go. Developers still get a 1-year life cycle, right? They still get, the only downside of this is the developers might have to think a little bit harder about their campaigns, because every 6 months there's a new campaign coming out. But hell, I don't even really need a campaign. I want zombies and I want multiplayer, and that's what we could get. So that 6-month cycle is a better one, but if they do come out with a 3-year cycle, that would suck. That would suck, and Call of Duty is going to be a lot less posted on my channel because Sledgehammer sucks, and I'm not too fond of Infinity Ward. So freaking 2 years out of a 3-year cycle, I'm just going to be playing a game that I don't think is nearly as good. Because Treyarch, to me, Treyarch Master Race, man, they make the better game, I honestly say. And some people say they flip-flop on that topic, right? They say, when Black Ops 2's out, God, this game's awful, Infinity Ward's so much better. Then when Ghost comes out, God, Infinity Ward's awful, Treyarch's so much better. No, I've never flip-flopped on that freaking topic. Infinity Ward Modern Warfare 3, it was bad. Black Ops 2 was great. Black Ops 1 was great. COD Ghost, it's boring. It's boring. There's a question that's going to be coming up later on in this episode of Dear Nero, which I can easily answer why I think is wrong with Call of Duty Ghost, and what I would do to make the game a lot more fun and a lot more interesting for everybody who plays it. So, next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I'm wondering what's the hardest thing you've ever gone through in your YouTube career. I know there can be lots of hard things that must be accomplished throughout YouTube simply because I am a YouTuber myself. What was the hardest thing for you, Juicy from Indiana? So the toughest part about YouTube is when you kind of hit a plateau. For me, when Modern Warfare 3 first came out, my channel, I talked about my 1,000th video, my channel just freaking blew up, right? It was getting tons of views, just blowing up. And I was getting subs and getting views, got my Cinema partnership. Then I stopped playing Modern Warfare 3. Hated the game, right? And my channel kind of plateaued at that point. I kind of stopped growing. Then Black Ops 2 came out. And it's like, bam, gained a bunch of subs again. And then, about 6 months into Black Ops 2, when basically we've been there, done that, we've seen everything, channel kind of plateaus again. The worst part about YouTube is when you're kind of in a rut and you're not growing, you're not gaining any views or anything. If anything, you're maybe losing some people. And you feel as though the videos you're making aren't as good as they could be, but you're just really, you're in a rut, right? A lot of you have been in ruts. You're in a rut at school. Sometimes when you're at school, you're just booming. You're doing really well. There's other times you're just in a rut and you're just like, oh, man, this is, I hate this. I don't understand this class. I'm not good at it. Or you just get in a rut. And YouTube comes with ruts, just like any other job, I guess. So That's probably the worst part about YouTube. Other than that, it's all freaking daisies and fantastic. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I recently subscribed to you and I watch your videos frequently. And my question for you is, what is your favorite campaign from all the Call of Duties? Cade from Ohio. So recent sub, I like that. Recent sub, new subs. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Dear Nero. I hope you're watching this far in. My favorite campaign of Call of Duties, I'm going to say these here. World at War is my favorite because I like World War II. You guys know me. I like retro old school stuff. And my second favorite would be Call of Duty 4. The reason I like Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was the very first like modern Call of Duty game. Right? First time using modern weapons, M16s, M4s, AK-47s. Well, even though that's not really a modern gun, but still used. SAWs and M60s, and it was cool. It was modern stuff for the first time. And so when you first, you played World at War, and I had fun with that. I love the World War II campaign. Then you play Call of Duty 4 for the first time. We're using these, silenced, SMGs, MP5s, breach and clear into a building and taking out people. Like one of the first missions, you go and you get this intel off of a boat in the middle of the ocean. And it's so intense, and it was cool. But now they've done it over like 80 times. I am sick to death of modern shooters, Not modern as like modern technology. Modern as in I'm tired of all of these M4 and SCAR variants. I'm tired of, silent SMGs and stealthy play. And I want to go back to World War II for a game. I want to go back to the goddamn Tommy gun running through the jungle. That's what I want to do. That'd be freaking cool. I want another double-barrel shotgun storming the castles of Japan. That's what I want. I want, World War II compared to modern is so freaking day and night different. I want bolt-action sniper rifles. I want, M1 Grand semi-automatic rifles. I feel like I'm, giggling over this or something. I don't know, but that's what I want. I want another World War II game. When Call of Duty 4 came out, and Modern Warfare 2 as well, it's like, yeah, man, these modern games, it's a really cool thing. But then it's like, all right, well, Black Ops 2 was modern, Modern Warfare 3 was modern, now Ghost is modern. That's 3 straight Call of Duties since Black Ops 1, which was like Cold War and Vietnam, which is also a cool area, cool period of time, which plays way different. Okay, I'm tired of this now. I'm tired of all these modern shooters. And if Sledgehammer takes over in this 3-year cycle, Sledgehammer is going to freaking piggyback off Infinity Ward and make the same damn game with a different name. That's what they're going to do. So I would really hope that in the future they go back to kind of like a World War II game, at least for 1 year. Or maybe a Vietnam. Maybe making the next Black Ops. I don't know. I'm excited for the next Treyarch game. I really am. Next question, he writes. Dear Nero, hello, I've been a big fan of you since about 60k subs, and here's my question. How do you feel about Telltale Games making the next Borderlands game? If you have already answered this question, then I apologize for wasting your time. Keep up the great work and have a wonderful day. Anonymous from Texas. So, 60k subs, that was a very long time ago. That's awesome. Been around for a while. How do I feel about... Okay, so admittedly, I'm pretty uneducated on this. I've only heard mentions and rumors of it, and from my understanding, what I've heard about it, I should really look into this, because it's going to be awesome, because I'm a big fan of the Borderlands series. On youtube.com/Nero's Let's Plays, you can watch me and Foxhound and my brother and my friend Nick and my friend Vicious, or whoever I was playing with at the time. We did a 100-episode Let's Play of Borderlands 2, and I also beat Borderlands 1, and I like the Borderlands series. So apparently this whole Telltale thing, it's going to be kind of like the Walking Dead Telltale games. The Telltale games, you guys don't know if you've seen the Walking Dead game, or you can go over to youtube.com/NerosCinema, or no, Nero's Let's Plays. Getting my channels mixed up here. I have a whole second channel that a lot of people don't know about. Almost 500 videos over there, posting daily Let's Play kind of stuff and stuff like that. Right now, I'm playing through Telltale's Walking Dead Season 2. And basically, if you've seen those games, it's kind of like, it's not really a skill-driven game. It's almost like a freaking storybook that you play and you make decisions, and the outcome of the game changes based upon the decisions that you make. And it's a cool sequence scenario idea. It's a cool idea for a game. There you go. I'm sitting here going through my thesaurus and you're trying to do a commentary. So it's a cool idea for a game, and I think what they're going to be doing with the Borderlands game, from how I understand it, is it's going to be set in the Borderlands. It's going to be set on Pandora. It's going to be set with those people, maybe some Vault Hunters, maybe some of the more popular people like Tiny Tina or Scooter or other people from the Borderlands series, and it's going to be kind of like that. I don't know too much about it, but I think it's going to be freaking awesome because Telltale games are awesome and Borderlands is awesome. And what I like most about this is if Telltale Games is making a Borderlands game, that still frees up Gearbox to get their butts working on Borderlands 3. That's what I'm excited for the most. That's going to be freaking cool. Borderlands 2 is awesome. Borderlands 3 is going to be even cooler. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I was reading the comments on an old video of yours called Call of Duty Sucks. It's the same thing every year. The thing I saw the most was that people were complaining, and I'm pretty sure most of them got blocked. But my question to you is, have you ever received death threats from anybody on YouTube or Twitter? Alright, so the video he's talking about, it wasn't like a literal video. It's called COD Sucks. It's the same game every year. Basically, I made a video titled that, and I basically like, guys, Call of Duty's the same stupid game every year. And I'm like, wait, no, it's not. And I basically went through and talked about how Call of Duty actually changes and actually evolves every year, and why it's not the same game every year, and how, if you think about it though, it's similar because it's still Call of Duty, but it's different every time, but it's still Call of Duty in the same way that Battlefield is different every year, but at its core, it's still Battlefield, and Borderlands at its core is still Borderlands, and I don't know games. I picture whatever game. Like if you play a series of games, they're all going to be different, but they're all going to be the same core idea. Otherwise, they wouldn't be what they are. That was the point of the video. But there were a lot of people that were butthurt about that video. They read the title, and then before you watch the video, they started making comments on it and whatnot. And that kind of led him to ask me, give him the idea if I ever got any death threats from anybody on YouTube or Twitter. So I got a funny story for you guys. May have told the story before. I'm not entirely positive. Back in Modern Warfare 3, I made a video. I found some boosters, and I made a video just kind of exposing boosters. It's a fun thing to do. If you catch people boosting your game, make a video of it, get tons of people, send them messages calling them douches for ruining the game, and get them reset and whatnot. And that's what I did. And one of the guys was like a 30-something-year-old guy, apparently. He got real butthurt about that. He was quite upset. And at the time, my Xbox Live gamer tag, like on my profile, it said Joe from the town I live in, Pennsylvania. I don't know how widely known the town I live in is, but either way, it said my name, and it said the town I live in and the state I live in. All right, right there on my Xbox profile. Never thought anything of it. It was just there. It's been there for years. And so what he did is he found me on Facebook. And I don't even use Facebook, but my cell phone number was linked there, and there was nothing privatized or whatever about my Facebook. I mean, I don't even use it. I had no idea, but so it was all default settings. It wasn't private to people or anything like that. And he got on my Facebook, and he found my cell phone number. Then he started like spam texting me from some. Apparently, there's websites that you can like spam people like thousands of messages at a time. And then he took my cell phone number and started posting it like on adult web forums, claiming to be like a 14-year-old girl looking for a good time. So I'm getting people from like Oil City, which is like a town right next to me. I'm getting people from Erie, which is the city I was born in. That's 45 minutes away. I'm getting messages from all like people asking me my age, sex, and locations, asking if I want to meet up and such. It was fucking weird. And basically, I got my number changed and never really heard from him again. Although I did get a friend of mine named Jonix. I don't know how he does it, but he basically found the guy by his Xbox name. He found his brother's Twitter, and then found his brother's location. Then found out through his brother's Facebook that who the guy was that was doing this to me. And basically, he sent me a message one day before I got my number changed on Xbox. He asked if I'd had enough yet. I'm like, nah, I think you should keep on going. Whatever his name was, I'm gonna call him Jerry. I'm like, nah, I think you should keep on going, Jerry. It's kind of funny. He's like, how much do you know? And I just wrote back like a winky face. Never heard from him again. Because he basically knew I did the same damn thing he did. I found his Facebook, and there it was. That's the internet we live in. So block your Facebook from people that aren't on your friends list, people, and don't accept don't accept requests from people that you don't know. That's good advice right there. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, have you ever thought of doing live commentaries? Jared from Michigan. Well, Jared, I'm going to direct you on over to youtube.com/Nero's Let's Plays, where I have nearly 500 videos of various Let's Plays, and all of them are live comms. Live comms in Call of Duty, it's not so much fun, right? Call of Duty, have you ever played Call of Duty? It's a game you get angry at sometimes. Battlefield's the same way. I don't think Battlefield would even be that fun. I mean, I will probably live stream Battlefield soon, but I don't know, live comms and like competitive like FPS games. Usually I just kind of yell at the screen and swear at it and such. And it's not like so much super interesting doing live commentaries, but let's play stuff, live commentaries, you actually have time to be witty, you have time to be funny, and you have time to just enjoy the game and sit back and have some fun. That's what I like to do, let's play stuff. I don't really do live commentaries over, shall we say, competitive games like Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, what would you like to fix or add into Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghost? I would like to hear what you think the flaws and the strengths in both games are. Sincerely, Gigarus from Canada. Where do I begin? All right. So Call of Duty Ghost, a couple things here. So there's some strengths, there's some positives about the game. One, I love the fact that air support cannot be shot down as easily. You know, I like that when someone earns themselves a 12 kill streak and gets themselves a helo pilot, they get to fully reap the benefits of that helo pilot without some Timmy No Thumbs going 2 and 30 shooting it down with a Stinger missile. I like that. That's a great addition to the game. The rank up system, I kind of like it. I like the whole pick 10, like the Cray class thing, but man, it's a grind ranking up in COD Ghost, isn't it? It takes forever. So I do like the whole pick a million system, like the whole Cray class thing. It's pretty cool. Although, I think it should be like noticed or pointed out that like they, you know, it's so innovative. They have so many perks, but all those perks are really just like pro perks from Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops, just basically broken down. Like they take a pro perk like Sledgehammer Pro from Black Ops. It would give you faster reloads and also give you faster aim down sight. Those are two different perks in COD Ghost. You know, the pro perk is just broken up. The perks in COD Ghost are basically just broken up pro perks, is what I'm trying to say. So I like those about the game. What I don't like about the game, I don't like the goddamn IED. I don't think anybody does. And they say they nerfed it. I played yesterday. It's not nerfed. You know, you still die to them around every corner. I don't like the fact they took out UAV. Ever since Call of Duty 4, ever since the first implementation of kill streaks in the Call of Duty, there has been a damn UAV. There's no UAV in this game. It is a goddamn snooze fest trying to find people in Call of Duty Ghosts. That's what it is. They're like, oh, we'll throw down a SATCOM. You have to throw down like 3 or 4 SATCOMs to get the effects of a UAV, and there's still a perk that hides you from SATCOMs. Alright? And when there's no SATCOM up, and since there's no UAV, it really hurts you to not use a silencer. So everybody uses a silencer. You know, when they said it's Call of Duty Ghost, that's what they're talking about. Like, people complained about Ghost, like the perk Ghost that hid you from the UAV in Black Ops 1. Freaking all of Call, like, Ghost is like a built-in perk in this game. Everybody is off the radar all the time, and they use a silencer. It's like, I can't see shit. I'm running across the map, I have no idea where people are at. And it's just not that fun. You know, that's what I'm talking about. It takes away the fun factor. It's a game of hide and go seek. You know, there's nothing stopping somebody. If you want to run a silencer and off the grid, you can sit in a corner to your heart's content, and I'll have no idea that you're there. You know, that sucks. I would add a UAV, and hell, I would add an orbital VSAT or a Blackbird, wherever you want to call it. Probably called an orbital VSAT in this game. I would add a Blackbird into the game, as well as a UAV. I want to make it so people start moving again. It's a very slow-paced game, if you've noticed that. Compared to Black Ops 2 especially, COD Ghost is very slow. It's very slow to find people, and when you do, you know, they're leaning out of a window or they're in a corner with an IED and a silencer. It's just like, God, this is boring. And it's because they chose to take out the UAV, which whose bright idea was that? Probably the same guy that brought in the IED, and probably the same guy that thought One-Man Army Danger Close was a great combination. Just horrible, horrible stuff. But those are the things I would change. I'd fix those up right away, because freaking that's what ruins Call of Duty Ghost for me. That's one of the reasons I don't have too much fun with it. Also, the colors of the maps. See, people are getting conflicted. Like, people hear me say that I think Fog is really fun. It's all dark and creepy and awesome and neat and Halloweeny. And they're like, but at the same time, like, Nero, you said you hate the dark maps and stuff like that. No, I don't hate dark maps if they're intentionally dark. Like Fog or Macon from World at War. Or what was the name of the remake of Summit in Black Ops 2 that was also nighttime? If it's a nighttime map, it's supposed to be dark. But in a lot of the Infinity Ward maps, it's freaking noon or right in the middle of the day, but it's just hazy and dark like everywhere you go, and like depressing. It's in the middle of the day. It's not supposed to be dark and depressing if it's middle of the day. It's supposed to be dark if it's nighttime, of course. But like, most of their maps are like dark and depressing in the middle of the day. And it's like, well, what in the hell? Doesn't make any sense. So I would change the color scheme. I would add a UAV. I would add a Blackbird and take out the ID completely. But I do like that the kill streaks can't be shot down. At least, well, they can, but not very easily. And I do like the perk system. I think it's an interesting twist on the game. I think it's kind of neat. And I also like the fact that there's, tons of assault rifles, tons of submachine guns, tons of weapons you can choose from and play around with. Those are the positives and negatives, in my opinion, of Call of Duty Ghost. Now, Battlefield 4, what do I like about the game? I like that on next gen. I don't think like 360 and PS3 is the same way, but next gen and PC, I like that if you choose to, you can have 64 people in one map, and it's insane and it's intense, and there's lots of stuff going around. I like the rank up system, how it takes forever to level up. The system they do, it's not like a prestige based system, it's like an actual rank system. And like if you see like a level 80, which I'm level 86 now, that's somebody that's put a lot of time in the game, is probably damn good at the game. In Call of Duty, whatever Call of Duty, just because Call of Duty Ghost is kind of the exception to this, because in Call of Duty Ghost it actually takes a very long time to level up. But in Black Ops 2, for example, it took me 5 days of playtime to get to Prestige Master. It didn't take long at all. So in Call of Duty Ghost, if you see a Prestige Master, that probably doesn't mean that they're good. You see a 10th Prestige or whatever in Call of Duty, it does not mean they're good, because it really doesn't take too long. But if you see, like in Battlefield 3, a level 100 Colonel, or in Battlefield 4, you see level 110, because they increased the level cap with the new DLC. You see level 110, that's probably a good player that knows what the hell he's doing. That's kind of a difference. I like the rank up system, and I like the action. I like the kits. I just like Battlefield in general. Basically, there's not too many negatives. There's only 2 negatives to the game, in my opinion. One, on Conquest Large, it's giant maps, like freaking giant maps, right? And there's so many vehicles. Even though there's 32 people on each team, it's hard to play infantry. It's hard to be an infantry player in those, because basically you will actually rarely find like people running around. Oftentimes you're gonna find people in a Jeep, or people in an LAB, or people in a tank, or people in a transport chopper, or an attack chopper, or a little mini bird UAV. I think it's called a little bird. It's a little tiny chopper. I mean, it's difficult to find a lot of good infantry combat on certain maps, and so I think I'd have to look at it really in depth, but on certain maps in Battlefield 4 for Conquest, and maybe even Rush, I would limit the amount of vehicles by 1 or 2 or something like that. And the biggest thing about Battlefield 4 is there's no pregame party feature. That's something Call of Duty's always done. That I've played. Ever since I played, it was Call of Duty 4 is the first one I played. I didn't really play the other ones like before that. But there's always a pregame party feature. You invite your friends, you all get in a little group, and then you join a game together. Battlefield 4 doesn't have that for whatever reason. So I can't just invite subs, into my squad and we go rape some face in Battlefield 4 together. We can't just go do that. We have to I join a game, then they join my session, then they switch teams, and then I leave my squad, and we create our new squad, and then they join in, and that's kind of how it has to go. So it's really difficult actually to get a squad of people together in Battlefield 4. So that's what I would change. I would limit some vehicles on certain maps, and I would change the pregame party feature and actually make it there. I don't know why it's not there. It doesn't make any sense. But time for the last final question here. This is a long episode of Dear Nero, and not expected to be this long. He writes, Dear Nero, I was just wondering what happened to the What If series? Justin from Ohio. So this question got sent like freaking 10 times this week. Okay, so if you're unaware, What If is a series where basically I would talk about a scenario that happened in the world and talk about what if this were to happen, or what if this didn't happen, and how it would change the world around us. Some episodes I talked about what if the zombie apocalypse actually happened. And that video randomly has a bunch of views. It's got like 50,000 views or something. I did one, which is a really interesting one, and kind of a creepy one at the same time. It's called What If Humans Didn't Need Sleep? Actually, got researched a lot of information, like how much the average man sleeps and the average woman sleeps and the average American sleeps versus the average life expectancy of a person in the world, and basically how most Americans anyway, I'm sure it's probably the same for everywhere else in the world, but basically we sleep, lay in our beds unconscious 1/3 or 33% of our entire life. If you picture your entire life as 100%, 33 of that 100% is going to be you sleeping. I talk about what if humans didn't need sleep. But I found with the series, so I did a few videos of it, and it was all fine. But then it's well, now I'm just really stretching. There's not too many good topics that I would want to do. And if there were topics like what if World War II didn't happen, that there's just so many freaking possible, how much research you have to go into a video where I talk about what if World War II didn't happen, or what if World War I didn't happen. It would be insane, the amount of research I have to go into it. And at the end of the day, I kind of like lost love with the series, I guess, because it was kind of like, basically I would say, so what if zombies were to happen? So that would suck. This is what I would do. What would you guys do? You know, it really wasn't. I think the best episode was the sleep deprivation one. Like, what if we never needed sleep? And there's not too many good topics for what if. And just a series, I just kind of like, man, there's just not enough good topics of it. And if they're, and most of the topics are like, you know, what if we could breathe underwater? Which that might even be a good title for an episode. Like, what would the human race do? But there's no real facts behind it. That's what I kind of liked about the What If series. There's no real facts behind it. I can't bring up facts like, okay, so statistics show that if we could breathe underwater, that we would have cities underwater, and then we would do all this underwater and such. But there's no real facts behind it. It's all just kind of pipe dreams. You know, just me just kind of chatting away. But then again, maybe if people want that, maybe I can bring it back sometime in the future. I don't know. Either way, all I know is we're 40 minutes in this episode of Dear Nero, and I've done this in like one take, and my voice is starting to go. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero, this week's episode of Dear Nero. Definitely a longer one, but definitely a fun one. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope you guys all enjoyed the various gameplay that I had put up here for you guys to enjoy, which I understand, like maybe not even watching the gameplay on Dear Nero, because this is becoming less of a weekly fan mail series and more of a freaking podcast, being 40 minutes long. Either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode. If you guys did, please remember to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves, and be sure to let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, and let me know about that question earlier. What was it? What was your favorite Black Ops 2 zombie map? I want to be interested about that. I'm randomly wanting to play zombies. Like, right? Randomly, maybe it's because I played so much zombies during Black Ops 2's life cycle, and then when Ghost came out, I'm just like, no more zombies. But now I'm just randomly like, man, Mob of the Dead sounds fun. Or, man, going all the way back to, like, Black Ops 1 or World at War, like, you know what? I think it'd be fun to go play some Shino Numa right now. Shino Numa is probably one of my all-time favorite maps in zombies. I don't know why. Something about that map, I enjoy it very much so. Japanese zombies, I don't know, it's really cool, but I don't know, randomly think about that. If you guys like sending your guys' questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, send me a personal message here on YouTube. Make the title of the message Dear Nero, and if it's a good question, an entertaining question, and above all, a question I've yet to answer before, because good golly, we are 70 plus episodes into What If, and I've answered a lot of questions in my time. There's a whole playlist on my channel, in fact, of every Dear Nero episode ever made. Actually, if you guys haven't done this, you guys can check out my actual channel. We got a playlist of all the Moabs I posted, of all the chem strikes, of all my COD Ghost videos, all my Black Ops 2 videos, all my, if you actually go to my videos tab and check my playlist, you can find my playlist, my full playthrough of Red Dead Redemption's Undead Nightmare, or The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, or Pokey MMO, or if you go to my Let's Play channel, we got whole playlists of, we got everything. We got Pokemon Fire Red, we've got Pokemon Ruby, and we've got Far Cry 3, and we've got Grand Theft Auto 5, and we've got like 10 episodes, and I quit playing it to Fallout New Vegas. And we just have a ton of different videos here on YouTube for you all to enjoy. If you guys like, check out, of course, other episodes of Dear Nero. There's a playlist for that as well. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode. If you did, remember to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
I was banging 7 grand rocks, that's how I roll. I got one gear go. Are you bipolar?